Alright, so in this problem I have x minus 3 squared is equal to x squared. So to solve this, I want to find the value of x. So for my solution, first start with x minus 3 squared is equal to x squared. Then I'm going to subtract x squared on both sides. So now I have x minus 3 squared minus x squared is equal to 0. Now, if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, a is x minus 3 and b is x. So I have x minus 3 plus x times x minus 3 minus x. And this is equal to 0. So all we have to do is simplify this. So for x minus 3 plus x, I'm going to add these two x's. So now I have 2x, and then I have minus 3 at the end, times for x minus 3 minus x, cancel out the x and negative x. So now I'm left with negative 3 is equal to 0. So now, if I go ahead and distribute this negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9 is equal to 0. So I subtract 9 on both sides. I get negative 6 is equal to 9. Sorry, negative 6 is equal to negative 9. And then I divide both sides by negative 6. And I get x is equal to 3 over 2. Now another way I can do this is, I'm actually going to write this up here. I have 2x minus 3 times negative 3 is equal to 0. This time I can actually divide both sides by negative 3. So I get 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So 2x is equal to 3, and x is equal to 3 over 2. So that's two different subparts of solving this, and 3 over 2 is my solution. Alright, so in this problem I have x to the power of 4 minus 25 is equal to 0. So I'm going to find the value of x here. So for my solution, first start with x to the power of 4 minus 25 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to rewrite x to the power of 4 as x to the power of 2 times 2, and I'm going to rewrite 25 as 5 squared. If I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So in this case, x to the power of 2 times 2, I can rewrite as x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. Now I have this minus 5 to the power of 2 is equal to 0. Now, if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, a is x squared and b is 5. So I have x squared plus 5 times x squared minus 5 is equal to 0. So now this gives me two equations. I have x squared plus 5 is equal to 0, and I have x squared minus 5 is equal to 0. So for x squared plus 5 equals 0, I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I have x squared is equal to negative 5. Now, if I take the square root on both sides, I get the square root of x squared is equal to the square root of negative 5. Now the square root of x squared is simply x, so I have x is equal to the square root of 5 times the square root of negative 1. And if you guys already know, the square root of negative 1 is simply equal to I. So now I have x is equal to the square root of 5i. And this is going to be plus or minus because the square root is going to be positive or negative. So this is going to be x is equal to the square root of 5i and x is equal to negative square root of 5i. So these are my two solutions. Now, we have another equation here, x squared minus 5 equals 0. And to solve this, I'm going to add 5 on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I have x squared is equal to positive 5. Now to solve this, I'm going to take the square root on both sides. Square root of x squared is x, and I have this positive or negative square root of 5. So my four solutions to this problem are x is equal to the square root of 5, x is equal to negative square root of 5, x is equal to the square root of 5i, and x is equal to negative square root of 5i. Alright, so in this problem, I have 3 to the power of x plus 3 to the power of x plus 3 to the power of x is equal to 333. So to solve this, I'm going to first start by factoring out 3 to the power of x. So I have 3 to the power of x times 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 333. Now 1 plus 1 plus 1, that's simply equal to 3. So now I have 3 to the power of x times 3 is equal to 333. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 3. So then these two cancel out, and now I have 3 to the power of x is equal to 333 divided by 3, which is 111. Now if I take the log on both sides, I have log 3 to the power of x is equal to log 111. If I have something in the form log a to the power of b, I can move this exponent b to the front. So this is going to equal b times log a. So in this case, log 3 to the power of x, move x to the front. So then I have x times log 3 is equal to log 111. Now if I divide both sides by log 3, these two cancel out, and I have x is equal to log 111 over log 3. Now, log 111, this is equal to 2.0453, and log 3, this is equal to 0.4771. So I have x is equal to 2.0453 over 0.4771. So now this is equal to 4.2869. So this is my answer. Now to check, I have 3 to the power of x is equal to, 3 to the power of x plus 3 to the power of x plus 3 to the power of x is equal to 333. X is equal to 4.2869, so I have 3 to the power of 4.2869 plus 3 to the power of 4.2869 plus 3 to the power of 4.2869 is equal to 333. 3 to the power of 4.2869 is, if you add up all these, you get 333.0369, which is approximately equal to 333. So this is right.